That's Dr. YaYa.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? I affirm that my voice can be heard and that all is well with you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Ask Dr. YaYa. And I appreciate it so much that you have joined me, that I'm going to give you these commercials. Contact me at www.askdryaya.com. That's where you can find me. That's where you can find your daily affirmations. That's where you can contact me with your questions and to set up an appointment to speak to me if you'd like to do that as well. You guys know what it is. I give you 30 minutes of common sense, practical wisdom, and common sense. How about that? That's what I'm giving to you, and that's what I'm giving tonight. And I am looking forward to this question. But before that, as I always say, I affirm that every lesson you needed to learn today, you learned it. And every bit of inspiration that you needed to encourage you, that you got it. And I stand firm on that, and that you are absolutely doing well. This has been a great day. But I really don't have bad days, if I consider it. It's a matter of perception. It's a matter of how I view my experiences. And if I'm learning something, or if I'm just, going to complain. And I choose not to complain. And I'm looking forward to the email question about dating advice. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be crazy. I don't know how to handle this. Dating advice, huh? Dating advice. I wonder if I have any of that. I don't really date, so I don't know if I have any of that. And in the first place, to be clear, I don't give advice. You get advice for free, and that normally doesn't do anything for you. I give life-changing wisdom. I need people to understand that. Look, I'm going to have to put that on a t-shirt so everyone can understand what it is that I do. I do not give advice. Okay? Advice is free. But I'm looking forward to this. And I'm ready to go. It says, Dr. YaYa, I have been dating for the past 4 months. I have been on a total of 5 dates with 3 different men. But I don't know. Wait a minute. 5 dates with 3 different men. That's good. That's pretty good. You're doing well. I guess you're doing well. I don't know how many you're supposed to do. But I guess that's good, considering that we're in the middle of a pandemic. But continuing. But I don't know if I am clicking with any of them. I admit that I have a checklist of my requirements and expectations. What advice would you give me? I'm 36, 5'5", mom of 3, 160 pounds, more pounds than I want. As with most women, I want a successful man. Thanks. Love your show. P.S. Here is a list of my requirements. Okay. He has to be fit, healthy, have a job longer than 5 years, must love to travel, and can't be cheap. Huh. Okay. All right. That's the list of requirements. That's the short list. That's 4 things that she says that she wants. Okay, first of all, get rid of your list. Your list is trash. It's trash. As we say in Spanish, basura. And Mandarin, lachi. Okay, it's trash. You should get rid of this list. This list means absolutely nothing. And I noticed that you don't have on this list, because you have 3 children, ma'am. You don't have on this list must be a family-oriented man, must love children. I don't see any of that on this list. That is a problem. That is a problem. I see fit and healthy on this list. Having a job longer than 5 years on this list. Can't be cheap. must love to travel, and that's it. That's all that you have. So let me break this down, because I don't do, and I really would want you to get a one-on-one session with me, because of the simple fact that everything, and you stated in this email that this is your checklist of your requirements and expectations, right? This is your checklist. On this checklist, and I find this with a lot of women. You never put, you always put the surface things on what you want in a person. That's the only thing that you think about. But no one ever says, I want them to be emotionally and mentally healthy. No one puts, oh, I'm sorry, this was the fifth one. I missed it. You put, he can't be a smoker and he can drink socially. Okay. I get it. How you doing, D Page? It's good to see you. D Page says, I think with so many expectations, when a man does not meet up to one of them, he is disqualified, and that's not fair. I certainly agree with that. It is not fair at all. And that is a problem. I have a problem with list. Now, we can have a certain level of expectation, and that comes from how we want to be treated. I get it. We want to be treated kindly. We don't want to be abused. We want to give as good as we get. But the problem that I have with lists is that, one, it's not organic. You don't go into this relationship saying, okay, I'm interested in this person. Let me see how our communication goes. Let me see what we can possibly talk about and build from there. No one ever says that. No one's list ever says that they must be a great communicator. From the list that I see from women, they never say that. They say things like, he has to be tall. He has to make a lot of money. And that's what you say in your email. I want a successful man. Well, what do you consider successful? Is this your successful yardstick, or is this his successful yardstick? See, your success is determined by you, whatever your standard of success may be. Is the paper boy successful? He delivers all of his papers on time. He gets paid on time. He has a nice little nest egg. He's saving money. He's doing well. Is that successful? The CEO who makes a lot of money but is in debt, but he has a good job. He makes plenty of money. Is that successful? Look, we have to understand that success is not determined by someone else's yardstick. Success is only determined by yours. So when you say you want a successful man, what you're saying is that it must be my guideline based on success. That's not fair to him, because he very well may be successful to him, but will be rejected by you because you don't think it's success. So now that's something that must be communicated. You have to have communication when it comes to that particular guideline. You're a mother of 3 children, right? You're a mother with 3 children, and your concern is that he must love to travel. How do you, as a mother of 3 children, single, how do you reconcile what you want with what your children need? I think that must be considered when we're talking about women, single moms who want to date and look for more. How do you reconcile that? I've never been in that situation. So that is something you have to consider. You have to think about that. And I know it's tough, because, I hear women say all the time, like, I have needs too. But when you have children, their needs come first. So when you're seeking a man and you want to date, and you want this person in your life, you have to say, well, how are my children going to react to my man? A lot of women don't think about that, right? A lot of the time you don't consider that, but that's something that you have to consider. Will he be able to discipline your children? And I'm not talking about beating children. I'm talking about being able to correct them, right? You have to think about that. This is a lot more than can't be cheap. This is a lot more than he has to have his job, be on his job longer than 5 years. How you doing, Chris? It's good to see you. This is more than that. So when you consider that here you are, you're dating, you're 36, mom of 3 kids, but you don't put, he must be family oriented. You don't put any of that. And I have a concern. That's a concern for me, because that is not on your list. You said this was your checklist of your requirements and your expectations. So you're not expecting any more than what you have on this list. That is a problem. That's a problem. Because you said, P.S., here's my list. Oh, here's my list. You have 5 things on this list, none of which pertain to how you want him to be integrated into your family. I get it. Okay. Now, the issue presents itself. What are you going, and I know this is going to be tough for some women who are going to hear this possibly now and later on. What about the man having his requirements as well? Because men have requirements, men have standards, right? Have you considered those? That's what I mean about communication. You got to talk. It has to be organic. And so D says this. He says, would it be a problem that as a man, I have stipulations too? I believe that the support of each other builds something that both of you own. You know what, D? Certainly not a problem. You're supposed to have stipulations. You're supposed to have a standard. You're supposed to have requirements and guidelines specifically for you. It's not a problem. I think some people think, well, men just get what they can take. Not so. Not so. No one should just be required to just jump in and say, okay, it's whatever you say. Whatever, especially men. If you're expecting men to lead, if you're expecting men to take charge, if you're expecting men to make healthy decisions, that cannot happen in a relationship if you want to be the puppet master. If you want to pull the strings, if you want to say this and not that, and then sit back and say, well, he's the head of the household. No, he's a figurehead. It's a difference. It's a difference. A lot of women have in their homes right now figureheads. And it's not so much that the man has no desire to lead. It's just that he's been cut off at the knees. If we're just going to be real, let's just be real. Right? Because sometimes, even based on this email, if his requirement is that all he has to do is have his job longer than 5 years, can't be cheap, loves to travel, fit and healthy, doesn't smoke, and you tell him these things, and that's all he has to do, guess what? That's all he's going to do. That's it. That's it. Because men compartmentalize things. They're like, this is what you want? You sure? Okay, you got it. And then you get what you want and you don't want what you got. And so you're mad. How come you're not doing more? It wasn't a requirement for me to do more. That's not what you said you needed and you wanted. And so many times you want to change it in the middle. And you can't do that. And then on the flip side of that, you want him to lead. And as soon as he makes a decision that you don't like, there's a big argument. But I thought you wanted him to lead. And see, so we have to be clear. Again, this is where communication comes in. You've been on 5 dates with 3 different men and you feel like I haven't clicked with any of them. Oh my gosh. What's going on? Can you help me out? Well, like I said, the first thing you want to do is get rid of this list. This list is garbage, straight garbage. You shouldn't even have a list. You shouldn't even have a list. And let me say this. If you do have a list, because I understand that some of these so-called relationship experts are telling you to make a list of what you want. I think you should certainly know what you want. I honestly do think that you should know what you want. But along with that, I think that, well, I know that you have to start off with where you are emotionally. You should start off where you are emotionally. Where are you emotionally? A lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people have no desire to do that. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about where they are emotionally because they just want the physical part. I just don't want to be alone. What does that say about where you are emotionally when you get right down to it? Because a Louis, Birkin, Michael Kors, whatever you think you like, is not going to change how you are emotionally. You are still going to be a broken and damaged person. Look, broken and damaged people shouldn't even be dating in the first place. If you have abandonment issues, you shouldn't be dating in the first place. If you always have in the back of your mind that all men cheat or all women are no good, you shouldn't be dating in the first place. If you think that, if you go into a relationship thinking that, oh, he's going to hurt me or she's going to betray me like the last one, you have no business in a relationship. And that's okay. It's okay not to be in a relationship. You don't have to jump right into it just because your best girlfriend is dating and you feel left out. If you are damaged goods, sit down somewhere. It's okay. It's okay to sit down. It's okay to say, listen, I am not ready for any of this. I don't have any of the qualifications emotionally to hold on or try to build a relationship. Too many people are getting into relationships because of the fact that they're afraid of being alone. They have these acts of desperation. They're looking at people around them and they're feeling like, oh my goodness, relationship goals. Oh my goodness, I want to be in this relationship. Oh, look at them. Stop looking at social media and trying to pick out what will be great for you in a certain relationship. You are a different person from those people that you're watching. You're a different person from what you deem to be, oh, they have a solid relationship. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know how they're feeling emotionally and mentally and psychologically. You have no clue. You have to do this based on where you are. And 60% of single people are not fit for relationship. Do I need to say that again? 60% of singles are not fit for relationship. Tough pill to swallow, but it is what it is. Why? Because they are not ready. They are not ready. Yes, you can go to the gym and get physically ready. That's great. Lose a couple of pounds and hey, you're sexy, you're on point. But emotionally, you're suffering. Emotionally, you don't even know how to share your feelings without cursing folks out and calling them names. You don't know how to have a disagreement without picking up something and throwing it at somebody or calling somebody something that makes them feel less than. You don't know how to handle disagreements without cutting up clothes and punching holes in the wall. That's a problem. You are not ready. If you cannot control your emotions, especially those emotions that get you riled up, if you cannot control your anger, if you cannot control your frustration, if you cannot control your confusion, you're not ready for a relationship. Point blank, period. You're absolutely not ready. If every little thing sets you off, you are not ready. If you have insecurities that you have not acknowledged, you are not ready. So it doesn't matter what I say to you, and I thank you for loving my show. I appreciate it. So it doesn't matter what I say. I can go out there and say, you know what, girl, what you need to do is, you lose those pounds that you want to lose in everything, and you go out there and you get you a nice, sexy dressed girl, and you get your face beat for the gods, and you know that man is going to come. That means nothing. Let me tell you something. Lipstick on a pig is still a pig. It doesn't matter what you do to it. You park it in the garage, it's still a pig. Doesn't make it a car. So me telling you to dress up the outside means absolutely nothing when you're damaged on the inside. So what I would tell you is to think about where you are. Think about where you are. And say, am I ready? Am I even ready emotionally, mentally for this relationship? Dee says, watch Judge Mathis and you'll see endless examples of what you're talking about. That's wild. That's why I don't even own a TV, but you know, I don't even watch TV, but I'm sure. And so we have all of these things, and people want all of this advice, but no one is telling them, where are you emotionally? When I do my one-on-one sessions and people say, okay, I'm ready to be a better person because I'm ready to jump into a relationship. I'm ready. I'm single. I've been single for a minute. So now I'm ready to find someone. So my first question is, well, who are you? Well, what do you mean? I want to know who you are. If you're ready to find someone, then that means you found yourself. Who are you? And that's a difficult question for people to answer because they're not thinking about it in those terms. Who are you? What type of person are you? And I'm not talking about your representative, but I'm talking about you. See, it's more important to be self-aware than anything else. But being self-aware means you have to be real with who you are, where you are, and the perception that you have of yourself. How you doing, money? It's good to see you. Right? And so people aren't ready for that. People aren't ready for that. Because they say, well, no, that doesn't put me in a good light, but it makes you real. We all have some things that we say, this is just who I am. It's just what it is. This is me. And I'm honest with that. I'm honest with that, and I can be honest with you. And when you're self-aware, it removes any type of pretense that you think that you might want to throw out there. Any type. But we don't want that. We want the hype. We want what people see on the television set. You know, we want the fairy tales. We want all of that. The knight in shining armor, the Prince Charming. No, there's a saying, and I'm not from the South, but there's a saying that I've heard several older ladies from the South say, and that is, love the one who loves you. I've actually heard that. Love the one who loves you. If they love you for you, then that's the one you focus your attention on. But so many times when we're dealing with women and them being single and wanting someone, they want to reach past. And they want to, well, I was told that if I shoot for the stars and, he's got to be this way and he's got to be that way. But they forget that I have to have certain qualities for this man as well. Right, Chris. They want the reality show relationship. And that's not how any of that works. It's not how any of that works. You have to be able to say, listen, this is what I bring to the table. Let me tell you something about the table. The table is where you come to negotiate. There are a lot of things that happen at the table. That's where you come to negotiate. A table is where you come to communicate. A table is where you're vulnerable. Why? Because we bring our food to the table. So there are a lot of things that happen when someone says, what do you bring to the table? They're just not talking about things that are superficial. They're talking about things that are life-changing. Things happen when you say, and a lot of women get offended when someone says, well, what do you bring to the table? And they say, well, I am the table. No, sweetheart, you're not the table. The table is neutral. That's why it's okay to come to the table. It's neutral. The table doesn't care, what's going on with you. It's what you put place on it. It's what's viewed on the table that matters. But you're not the table. And so a man has his requirements and his expectations. A woman has her requirements and expectations, and we should not allow men to think that their expectations don't matter. We shouldn't allow that. But getting back to you, ma'am, I would say, again, check where you are emotionally, because you didn't mention anything about how your kids are going to, how your children are going to feel about you having to going into another relationship. Children can at some point get very jealous. Children can start to act out because mom is dating a new guy. And then depending on how many men your children have seen, that doesn't help, because they feel like, well, I can't get close to him because he's not going to be here long. So that's a consideration. That's a consideration. That's what you consider. But get rid of that list. The list has to go. I don't understand why you even have a list when you have 3 children that you have to consider, and not anything on this list was about your 3 children. And sometimes I hear women say, well, it doesn't matter. He just, I got my kids. I have my kids. He just has to worry about me. No, stop thinking like that. That's not how any of that works. That's not how dating works. That's not, if you're looking for a husband and you have children, that's not how any of that works. Because he's got an uphill battle if he's coming in and you already have children and you have 3. And I'm sure they're lovely, outstanding, wonderful children to you. But he's coming in, not on the ground floor, but whatever you've instilled in them, whatever their lifestyle was like, he has to come into that. That has to be considered. I don't understand on your list about him, not being cheap. I don't understand that. Can't be cheap. What do you mean he can't be cheap? Does that mean, I don't get that. I don't get that. If you write again, I would like for you to elaborate on, he can't be cheap. Can he be money wise? What does that mean? He can't be cheap. Does that mean you're going to run him to the store and shop all the time? I just don't get what that means. I need more. Must love to travel. That's another one. Where are you going? You have 3 children. Where must love to travel? Y'all, you're going to be traveling a lot. That sounds like you want to leave the house a lot. Not healthy if you're trying to build a relationship with someone and you want them to be there. Must be at his job longer than 5 years. Okay, I can see that, because then you want to see if there's some stability there. I get that. Fit and healthy. And you are, no disrespect to you, but you stated that you're overweight. Are you also going to bring fit and healthy to the table? Because this is the thing. A lot of times women want men to accept them the way that they are. Oh, you accept me the way that I am. I know that I'm overweight, but I'm big and beautiful, honey. I am not fat. I'm chunky. I'm pleasingly plump. I don't care how many nice little cute words you put on it. You're still unhealthy and you're still not fit. But yet you want this man to be fit and healthy. Yeah. This list is total trash. This is trash. It really is. You have to be willing to bring some things to the situation in a relationship, period. Yes, thick. Oh, I'm thick, honey. Yeah, I'm bringing all of this in. I'm thick. No. You cannot ask of someone something that you are not willing to present and give as it relates to you. Now, I have heard a lot of women get upset when men say, I want a woman that's height, weight, proportionate, and, that's just the way I like it. Women get upset. A lot of men like big girls. They feel like they're being rejected, but you're not being rejected. You're not being rejected. He doesn't want you. You can't reject something that you're not already looking at. Rejection is when I've chosen you and I put you back. See, women don't understand what rejection is. They think the man says, wait, I'm laughing at this comment. If grits are too thick, they will choke the hell out of you. I'm just saying, that's true. So in order to be rejected, and a lot of women feel like that. A lot of women feel like, well, he's rejecting me based on my weight. He's not rejecting you if you haven't been picked off the shelf. That's not how rejection works, right? Let me give you an example of rejection. You go to the store, right? You are at the grocery store and you pick up a container of peanut butter. You look at it and you say, okay, I see. This is, how much is it? And you look and the price says it's $4.56. And you say, okay. You look at the next container of peanut butter, and that one says $2.99. The one you have in your hand, you put back on the shelf, okay? And you pick up the other one because that's the one you want. That means the one you put on the shelf was rejected. You don't want it. You're not going to have it. That's what rejection is, ladies. If you've already been chosen and he says, oh, I'm good, that's rejection. But if he's not even considering you, if he's not even thinking about you, you have not been rejected. So many times women say, oh, you don't have to reject me, and they get their feelings hurt for nothing. That's not what that is. Just because a man says, well, I prefer my women to be smaller. That's not rejecting you. You didn't shoot your shot. So we have to understand that. That's something that has to be understood. But because we have all of this, body positivity, and, you have to love me and like me. And you can't make people eat the peanut butter they don't want. You can't do it. If I prefer rice over grits, you can't give me grits. Right? So we have to keep these things in mind. So to the young lady again, I would say, see where you are emotionally. Consider your children in this when you're considering dating. And number 3, what are you bringing to this relationship that's going to be viable and it's going to allow you both to build and grow? That's it. But as far as your list of things that you have right here that you think he ought to be, is trash. Throw it away. It makes no sense. And you'll be single forever if you keep going by this list. All right. I certainly, man, it's quite interesting. I want you to write back and tell me what happened, what's going on, and where you are. Remember, this has been 30 minutes of practical wisdom and common sense. You are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated. I'll see you on the next episode. Much love.